The first thing to do with things like PVA is to stop them drying, and that goes for acrylic paint as well. Anything like that that's water soluble and wet, the most important thing is to stop it drying. Start off with a teaspoon and an old mug, and from the outside to the edge, use a teaspoon and scrape as much as you possibly can up. Once you've used the teaspoon, then you can move on to the back of a knife and a piece of paper. Just manually scrape it. Then you move on to water. And outside to in, you wipe, rinse, squeeze, wipe, and just keep going and going and going and going. If you spell PVA on something that's not porous, like, for example, a worktop, you just either leave it to dry and peel it off or just wipe it off. But of course, when it dries, it goes hard and it soaks in. So, like I said, scrape as much as you can off. The other thing to remember with things like PVA and acrylic paint is that when they come out the tube or the bottle, they're quite thick. And the thick substances don't soak into the fibres very easily. But as soon as you start diluting them, they do. So it's and as they get more liquid, they spread. So it's in your own interest to get as much out as you possibly can before you start to sponge clean, because that will dilute it. Unfortunately, you've got to keep going a very long time with that, because when PVA goes, and it can be quite dilute and it goes rock solid, and it will have soaked into the fibres by now. And because it will have soaked into the fibres, once it goes rock solid, I'm afraid there's not a lot you can do. And for an indication, many years back when I used to make Tillandsia arrangements, we would get pieces of wood, driftwood and terracotta pots, and we would mix PVA glue with water until it looked like milk and had the same water-like consistency. And we would use about a tablespoon or two of that liquid on dry horticultural grit, mix it. We would use a bit of hot glue to stick the piece of driftwood in up, and we would fill the terracotta pot with that, trowel it down and leave it to dry slowly, and that would dry rock solid, really, really solid. And once it was in, that was it. The only way you'd get it out is to smash the terracotta pot. So PVA glue is really solid in very, very, very low dilution. So high dilution, low dilution, whatever. But anyway, yeah, good luck.